Good evening, and welcome back to another episode of the Truth Unspoken. And we have a little bit of better news on this episode. First of all, I want to thank everybody that's been supporting, and everybody that's been joining, and everybody that's been encouraging and getting fired up. I've been meeting different people out in the marketplace. Talked to several different parents and grandparents throughout the week, and somehow the subject just comes up. I don't ever bring it up, but the subject continues to come up, which I believe is the spirit of the Lord. It brings the subject up of our children and what's going on in the schools and the school districts and what's going on in California and in our nation. And so, but I've been getting a lot of positive feedback. People are starting to join. People are starting to hear. And tonight we're going to show some fighting back, or some tactics and maneuvers that are taking place by the de-gender transitioning, right? There's stuff you got to
Right.
practice how to say this stupidity. But anyways, there's there's some lawsuits going on. We have a few doctors that we're going to expose tonight. If you hear about these doctors, make sure that you stay away from them, and everyone that you know, put them on high alert, because these doctors are mutilating children, mutilating young adults, mutilating teens, and lying to parents and deceiving parents. And so, we're on the same vein. Just continue to bring truth, continue to bring stats, continue to bring facts, continue to bring live testimonies. No one can argue against a live testimony. And that's something that we must know. Like, there's nothing stronger than your own personal testimony. When you have experienced something, if you have went through something, if you have overcome something,
Yeah.
nobody can take that away from you. And if something bad has happened to you, if abuse or misuse, or in these situations, they're actually criminalistic things that have been done to these people, these young adults and young kids and young teenagers. So when they're coming forth and saying what took place, like last week when we watched about the young man that was lied to, and then even after he was butchered, the Joshua, what was his name? We'll bring it up in a little while, but his name is Joshua, and we have his last name in the notes. But when the doctor was telling him, you need to go to another surgeon, recommending him to another surgeon, and every surgeon that the young man went to, they said you what's happened to you is too drastic, and if we were to cut on you, or we were to try to do anything more surgical, it would probably cost your life. And so,
Joshua Roth
yeah, Joshua Roth.
is the
That's the
doctor.
name of one of the doctors, but one of the main doctors that's mutilating people. And so, we're not growing weary in well doing. We're continuing to push forward and continue to spread the word about taking the kids out of school for a week,
Yep.
so that we can get attention from the entire state. And all the school boards will be put on notice when this happens, right? And so we're looking for dates in September, I believe, to where we can gain traction, right? And we broke down the stats last week of what it would be. Just a thousand children would be 50,000 a day, 50,000 a day, right? So that's $250,000 at the end of the week. So you take 5 days, 50,000. That's $250,000, and that's just for one week. Now, if say we get more, let's say we get 10,000. Now we're really starting to get attention. But I believe that even 1,000 students, even 500 students, will get attention from these people that they know no limits. They care not about the next generation. Their only concern is money, greed, and power. And so we are standing as parents saying that we're not going to just allow our children to be mutilated without our consent, without us having any type of rights to say so. And the Lord has given us charge for these children. And it's really a blessing. Children are a blessing.
Yep.
Children are a joy, and that's the natural part of childhood. Is children need to be able to have fun. Children need to be able to be children, and they're taking that away. They're stripping that away, and so we're here to say, no, you're not gonna strip it away, right? And so, anyways, we got a few videos. We have an update from Chloe. She is actually suing the doctor that did what he did, mutilated her. And also we have some more stats and some more cases. Now there's starting to become more and more lawsuits towards these doctors on the LGBT community that is detransgenderizing, whatever.
Transitioning.
Yeah, detransitioning. And so, so there's more and more cases happening, right? And so we're going to get into a little bit of that so we can show some progress, right? That there is action being taken. And I believe the more that these young people continue to come out, the more that this will be exposed and the more it will be shown for what it is. We also have a case where a young lady, her uterus and her breast was removed without consent from the doctor. And so there's a lot of that going on, but this is just one that we found. But yeah, so this whole lie of the LGBTQ is an equal gender situation and it's equal rights. We keep on exposing that is a lie, because that doesn't sound like equal rights to me. When you go and you think, each one of them think something else is going to happen from the surgery. They have a dream, they have a fantasy, they have something that they've longed for, and the sad reality is not one of them that we have found, that we continue to see case after case, but not one of them, when they make the decision of saying, I don't want to do this anymore, not one has been helped, not one can receive any treatment, and not one of them can have any surgery to reverse or fix what's been done to them. And so how is that equal? How is that right? How is that just when someone that realizes, hey, this is not what I thought it was. Can you help me backpedal on this? And the response is zero contact. You just get cut off and you get shut off. And then if you go in to get surgery for one thing that you think, and then when you wake up, you have other things missing that you never approved of, guess what? Each one of those organs, each one of the items that is taken is an extra check. And so that's what we're doing. We're exposing the lies, we're exposing the deceit, we're exposing the wicked, we're exposing the evil, and getting righteous people that care, that love their children, that love their grandchildren, and we're the only protection they're going to have. Our laws are not protecting our children. The laws are being made to destroy and mutilate and kill and deceive our children. So we are the only ones, right? You cannot call the police if a psychiatrist met with your child and influence them without your knowledge. You can't even call the police and say that the police won't even respond to that.
Nope.
And so we're the last line of defense. And that's why we have to have an awakening. We have to have I was in the sauna the other day. Shout out to all the people that I met and talked to about these things, and the encouragement that you've given. And, the more I hear, the more I talk, the more I engage, and I hear, okay, there's a whole lot more people that are not in agreement with this than that are.
Yep.
And so it's just getting, and most of the time it's always the same talk, the same conversation is people don't know what to do. So they see what's wrong. If they see what's wrong, they see it, but they're like, what is the remedy? Because we've been put in a place to made feel helpless and worthless, and our voice doesn't count. But there's always the old saying, there's strength in numbers, right? The more numbers that we have, the more they must change what they've done. So it's all about unity. That's the bottom line. If we unify, it's just like for our country, you know. United we stand, divided we fall. And right now we're divided and we must unite, but there is a movement happening. Yes. And so I'm encouraged and I'm excited because more and more people are finding out, more and more people are linking together, more and more people are starting to watch. And so it's still the same, but the two remedies is, one is build private and charter schools and academies, and pull our kids out of the school in a unified situation. So meaning a date that's picked, and we're gonna start. We're working on that right now. We just got to concrete which dates we're gonna have, and as soon as we have that, we're gonna start blasting that out, right? And we're gonna start putting it everywhere. And so, but there's also a strategy on how to do that because we don't want them to see that we're coming, right? So it's gonna take some strategy. It's gonna take a lot of input and a lot. Real nervous, right? And maybe they'll think we're bluffing. Maybe they'll find out and say that's not really gonna happen, and then when they have a bunch of empty schools, then they'll realize we're serious. And so, anyways, I want to jump into some content. Are we ready to?
Chloe.
Yeah, let's start with Chloe.
And I would get really bad hot flashes, which stopped as I went off of them.
Yep.
So throughout the years, I was on puberty blockers, testosterone, and I had a double mastectomy. And I've experienced complications. I still am experiencing complications to this day from all three, including the joint pains. I went on puberty blockers myself. I was on them for about a year, and while I was on them, I would hear like cracks in like my neck and my back, and I would get really bad hot flashes, which stopped as I went off of them. But to this day, I still experience joint pains, mainly in my arms, my hands, my knees, and mostly in my back and my neck. Because of the testosterone, I have permanent changes to my bone structure that cannot be reversed. And I mainly have issues with my urinary tract, but I'm not sure whether I'll be able to conceive a child or be able to safely carry to term or to birth. And because of the mastectomy, I'll never be able to breastfeed. And as part of the process, as part of the operation, they used skin grafts. And 2 years later, 2 years after the surgery, I thought the healing was going fairly well, save for the grafts being slightly dry on the surface, but they started to leak fluid, and I've had to start wearing bandages over them again. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's an infection, if it's some other complication from the surgery, but I've gotten no help from it, and I'm not sure whether it'll even go away or if I'll have to live like this for the rest of my life. I wasn't really allowed any time to just be, and to just be and just to be observed alone without intervention. I mean, it was only about half a year between being diagnosed with gender dysphoria and actually being medicated. So the process for me was very expedited. I'm afraid that my generation and the generation the generations following mine are going to be led astray down the same path that I was on. It is not loving to lie to a child. It is not loving to disrupt a child's healthy, natural development. Or to encourage them to do so. It took me quite a while to get to this point. I mean, initially, when I was speaking out just on my personal social media and with people who I considered my friends, I got shut down pretty quickly by other transgender individuals and by allies. And I stayed quiet about it for a little while. I didn't want to speak out about it. I didn't want to get the reactions, get the treatment that I was seeing then. But at the same time, I was also speaking to other people who are detransitioning, people who regretted their transitions, and people who were harmed medically. And seeing how these people were suffering, how a lot of them had a lot of the same struggles that I did, and some even worse, some were even worse off. I realized that this experience is a lot more common than previously thought. And not everybody in the situation feels that they're able to speak up. And that's a large part of what motivates me to speak out. I'm far from whole. I'm far from healed. I'm still processing and dealing with what I went through. But I think the things that keep me the most motivated to do what I'm doing would be the love for my friends and family, and my friends who are detransitioning as well. Just seeing what they're going through and what thousands of children and young people are going through reminds me of what I'm fighting for.
Okay, do we also have the one where she's announcing the lawsuit? So, as you can see, that it's become a mission for Chloe to try to stop what's happening, what happened to her, from happening to others younger than her, and as you can hear, the pain, and so when we show these things, it's not just we show it one time and then we move on to the next thing. No, these are people's lives. This is very real, and it's out of control what's being done. We also have a couple in Indiana where their son was taken from them, right? Because they would not affirm the son's wanting to be called a daughter, which we know that there is some adult in that son's life that is influencing him and deceiving him, most likely at school. And so the parents were under investigation since 2021. And then after being investigated, the law came into their home and took their child because they wouldn't call him a girl and he was a boy. So we are definitely in a dictatorship type situation in our country. And so at the end of this, we're going to show the list of all the transgender doctors that are into mutilating people for money, and we're going to expose them all. But Chloe, she started a lawsuit. Okay, it's in the lady show. I can start just before Chloe and Laura come on. Okay, yeah, let's play that. We're gonna play a video of them talking about the actual lawsuit.
And 85% of kids with this gender dysphoria feel differently when they reach puberty, which is why in Finland you can't perform these irreversible surgeries on kids at all. But here in the United States you can, and this sexual brainwashing happened to my next guest, who underwent a double mastectomy at age 15. At age 17, Chloe changed her mind and detransitioned, and today she decided to fight back, filing a groundbreaking lawsuit against Kaiser and the doctors who she says performed a sex change experiment on her. Chloe Cole joins me now, along with her attorney, Harmeet Dillon. Chloe, what's your message to parents out there who may have been told their son or daughter has gender dysphoria?
Thank you, Laura, for having me. My message to parents right now is, unfortunately, you might have to go against the advice of the doctors right now, and to keep your kids away from this ideology, to keep them away from this experimentation, while also letting them know that you love them and staying as involved in their lives as you can.
Harmeet, we reached out to Kaiser Permanente, and the statement that they gave us read in part that the care decisions always rest with the patient and their parents. And in every case, we respect the patients and their families' informed decisions about their personal health. Harmeet, is that really the case?
Well, see, that's the lie, Laura. Informed is the trick word there. And it is impossible for any patient who goes to get care of this nature at Kaiser to give informed consent, because Kaiser isn't telling the whole story to patients like Chloe. In fact, they're pushing this surgery on children at younger and younger ages. And to be very clear, it's both woke ideology and it's big business. They're signing up children for a lifetime of medical care and treatment, and a lifetime of regret for most of them, as you just mentioned from that expert in Finland. And that is what studies show. And, you know, it is selling a lie that you can change your gender. That's a lie. And it is selling this mimicry. And it is also pushing drugs on children with a false premise that puberty blockers are reversible. They are not. And they have lifetime effects on children that are unknown. And so it is a package of lies. And frankly, it is impossible to give informed consent under these circumstances. That is why we're seeking to hold Kaiser and the physicians and medical professionals who did this to Chloe liable, so that, first of all, she gets the care she needs for the rest of her life. And second of all, Kaiser thinks twice before doing this to other children.
Right, and no child.
Well, and Harmeet, I think the point, Harmeet and Chloe, sorry, it's like the cigarette companies. They knew what they were doing, but they pushed it anyway, for money and for branding and so forth. And Chloe, to your personal case, you get a double mastectomy at age 15.
Yes.
Now what do you do? What are you doing now to try for your own care?
I mean, I've tried to reach out to all my doctors who got me into the situation in the first place. And the gender specialist who referred me to the surgeon just told me that the regret, this failed transition, is just another part of my gender journey. And after the surgery, I'm never going to be able to breastfeed children. And aside from that, I've had some complications pop up years post-op, and I haven't been able to get any help with that. I likely won't be able to be a candidate for any reconstructive surgery either.
Chloe and Harmeet, this is such an important issue and case, and I am never letting this go as long as this is an issue in the United States. Thank you for speaking out tonight. We really, really appreciate it, and we wish you both the best.
Chairman. Thank you. Thank you for yielding. Quick question for Mr. Mentor. You yourself transitioned at age 35 and not as a child.
So, as Ms. Ingram said too, I'm not letting this go as well. Yep. Long as this is an issue in the United States, I'm not letting this go as well. And we need more and more people to have that same attitude. And like I said, this is not a political channel. This is not a religious channel. This is not a biased channel. This is the truth. We're bringing out truth and live testimony. As you can see, that Kaiser continued to try to lie, right? After they didn't, instead of saying we made a mistake, we shouldn't have done that. They don't do that. They don't do that. And they try to put it on the blame of the families and the patients, but you're influencing the families and the patients. That doctor for Kaiser told Chloe's parents, you have two choices, a dead daughter or a happy son. Yeah. That is not when you have people looking to you for guidance and those are the only options you give is death or mutilization, they're not going to choose death. So you influence these people, you influencing these families because you're getting a check. And the more cutting, the more chopping equals more and more checks. And as you heard the attorney break down the deceptive language, right? And then even when she talked to her doctor that guided her to this, right? He's still saying, oh, this is just a part of your transgender journey. Like getting your breast chopped off, getting your female organs to reproduce life, getting that removed and chopped and cut. That's just a part of your transgender journey. Meaning, you stay on course. Everything will get better. And these people know. Yeah. They know that those drugs, the hormonal drugs, they know that they're irreversible. They know that these surgeries are irreversible. And so, more and more awareness is coming to this. What's done in dark will come to the light. And so all these things that are being done in darkness are coming to the light now. And it's for awareness and it's for unity. See, when the darkness seems so dark, the light is always brighter. But it's just the light has to be exposed and shown in the darkness. And that's what we're doing. We're exposing, we're shining the light on these dark, wicked people that are only about money and want to destroy and are destroying families. Mm-hmm. So another issue that goes into this is we're going to bring up another video of a family that, as we said, the law came in and took their child. So we're going to go ahead and play that.
2021. We unfortunately had to become reluctant warriors when our child was removed from our home after DCS became involved in our family life.
When our son was removed, it was like someone pulled the rug out from underneath us. As a father, I believe one of my main goals is to keep my children safe. And I can't do that when the state comes into our house and takes our kid because we can't, in good conscience, affirm his transgender ideology. His disappearance made a huge hole in our hearts and our family, but we will always love him and pray for him.
Our child was out of our home for 17, 18 months altogether, ultimately aging out of the foster care system. We were able to visit with him at his discretion, basically for about 2 to 3 hours each week. Though we pushed constantly for additional engagement, attended family therapies, we were never able to have an agreement for additional time with him. as a mom, having limited access to your children it's heart-wrenching. I miss his laugh. I miss being with him, talking with him about everyday things, teaching him how to bake, how to cook different things. There's so many things that we are to our children, not just their first teachers, but basically their first loves. And to miss out on that during such formative time in his life, we'll never get that time back. We didn't pursue an affirmational approach with our child because, first, as Christians, we believe God created us as male and female. And as parents, it's our job to help our children to reach their full potential. And the only way we feel to do that is to raise our children through our Christian beliefs.
Secondly, we didn't go with the affirmational approaches because we did a lot of research on this subject. There are many different approaches. We spoke to multiple mental health care providers and ultimately decided that affirmation was not going to help our child.
In our experience, this is not an isolated incident. There are a number of families here in Indiana experiencing the same issues that we've gone through. The mental health support services that we experienced were very much following an agenda towards affirmation only, which for our family was not going to resolve our child's issues. We are speaking out about this case now because parental rights need to be protected in Indiana. Our family should have never had to go through this. And we don't want any other family in Indiana to go through it either.
Parental rights must be protected in both law and culture. This should not happen.
So it's not just Indiana, it's the United States. And when you watch these things, it's hard to believe that these things are taking place in America, but they're taking place every day. And until we unify, and you gotta remember, these are all agendas driven by money. Right. Every one of these truths, every one of these real life testimony of what's going on in America, the behind scenes is mammon, is money. And the Bible teaches us that those that love money, they have no limit to evil. There's no amount of evil. I mean, listen, the Child Protective Services is supposed to be for protecting children of abuse or danger, right? So since when do Child Protective Services come because there's a child that wants to be called a boy or wants to be called a girl and they are a boy or are a girl, and then the parents, the child is removed and taken because the parents won't affirm what the child who's being misguided, who's being deceived and doesn't really know the truth because the truth is being kept from them. And so when this child says, you're not calling me a name, the Child Protective Services comes in and removes them and puts them in the foster care. Now, for those that don't know, I worked in foster care. So at the time when I was working, the state would give the foster care system, whatever group homes or orphanage that was provided, but the group home kids, the state would give, it was $13,000 a month per kid. So I managed a group home that had 9 boys from the age of 8 to 17. Now, each one of those kids, the state gave that company $13,000 a month. So if you really want to break it down, that child that was taken from a home and put into foster care, that foster care started getting money from the state. So we got to really pay attention to what's going on, because every child that they can get and get into foster care, there's a check. And then guess what's in foster care? Psychologists, psychiatrists, therapists, all these people that have joined this cause of destroying children's lives. Now there are those that may say, "Oh, there's good whenever." No, they know what's going on. I actually had a relative that got his degree in psychology and was pursuing that until he found out that experimental drugs was being used on children, and then drugs to get children addicted and change their behavior. He saw he was in it, and then he changed careers because he said he couldn't be a part of that, and he actually addressed everyone that was involved. You know, he's a big dude like me, but when he realized what was happening to the children, he caused issues in the company, and then left that career path completely because he saw the truth. So all of those in that industry, you know what's going on. You know what's being done to these children. You know the medications do not help these children. You know these things. And prescribing and writing medical evaluations and all this based on all these different lies, and then validating it to parents, telling them your child has this, telling them your child has that. No, the child needs God. The child needs biblical teachings, because the biblical teachings are true. That's why we're seeing all of these outcomes, right? Now, I think was there one more that we talked about, the the verbiage. I want to yes, I want to put the verbiage of the consent. Now, this is a woman that's suing when she had items removed while she was unconscious, and she never gave consent, right? Yeah.
Go full screen.
Yeah, we can go full screen. And I actually think, isn't that video of him talking? No.
Not talking about it in the video.
Oh, okay.
I was deceived myself.
Okay. Well, let's go down. Let's scroll down. It says a woman who allegedly self-diagnosed herself as having gender dysphoria as a teenager is suing 2 Wisconsin surgeons who removed her uterus and breasts, saying they did the procedures without her proper consent. Jay Lick and Catherine Gass, as well as UW Hospital, were named in the suit in Dane County Circuit Court. Wisconsin State Journal reported. Lick reportedly removed the now 23-year-old woman's uterus when she was 19, while Gass performed her double mastectomy when she was 21. Both surgeries were considered gender-affirming procedures according to the suit. The lawsuit argues the woman self-diagnosed herself as having gender dysphoria in her late teens, but that doctors did not independently diagnose her, according to the Wisconsin State Journal. The suit alleges that the doctors carried out malpractice and failed to obtain informed consent, discrimination under the Affordable Care Act, hospital negligence, and the denial of benefits and care that would have been provided to a non-transgender woman, according to the suit. So we have that's a lot. And so these are popping up more and more and more as we continue to go on. And more people are coming forth and saying what's been done to them, right? Now we have to remember that these people are looking for help, right? They're looking to doctors for help. They're looking for answers, and they're being sold dreams that end up being nightmares. And they're irreversible nightmares, right? So the more that this comes out, the more and more any LGBTQ person has to face all of these numbers. And then guess what? I think that people are seeing this and they're changing their minds. I think that's happening as well. But then if you have someone that's pushing an agenda because they know I'm going to miss out on a check if I don't get this young person to believe what I'm saying. And they're feeding on the lies so that they can get that check. And so I think that the movement that is happening is we're going to see more and more and more lawsuits. I would like to see these doctors put in prison, like Candace Owens said. When you know that when you cut on somebody and you know it's not gonna be what they imagine and what they was told, you should go to prison, right? If you stab somebody, you know that you're gonna when someone stabs someone, they made the conscious decision, I'm gonna stab them. That person will go to prison or jail. But a licensed doctor with the same knife, but because he has a white coat and he has a degree, he knows when he or she, they know when I cut on this person, they're never going to be the same.
Yeah.
They know that. So that's intentional.
You want to read a little more?
Yeah, we could read some more. I know there's a whole lot.
See if you can see it there.
She's now mourning that she will never be able to naturally conceive a large family as expected in her culture. The lawsuit states explaining the woman is Jewish. Oh, wow.
Sorry.
No problem. So here it is. What's happening is that she's realizing that you're going to have to make that bigger. That's too small. She's realizing that, there we go. Listen to this lie. UW Health and its providers care deeply for the health and well-being of patients and work hard every day to ensure patients receive the best possible care. Hospital spokesperson Sarah Benzel told the Wisconsin State Journal. The spokesperson did not elaborate on the case or how informed consent is obtained at the hospital, according to the outlet. Right. So they listen, they're also masters, right? They're masters of redirection,
Yep.
redirection, avoidance,
Yep.
right? Not taking accountability. They're masters, so they study this stuff. They study how to maneuver and how to side talk and not deal with issues directly. They work on that. They practice that. Okay, it says the woman's attorney, Daniel Craig of Eklund and Blando in Minneapolis, said his office is representing the woman to rectify the alleged personal injury matter, not for PR purposes. We're not doing this as a public relations maneuver like a lot of the detransitioner cases are, Craig told the Wisconsin State Journal. This is a straight personal injury, medical malpractice. See, there's what it really is.
Yep.
These are malpractice experiments.
Yep.
You heard Chloe say that. It says that Wisconsin Senate last month approved a bill that would ban sex reassignment surgeries for minors, amen, through Democratic Governor Tony Evers said he will veto the measure. Oh, wow. Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, so right there, see, most people go, oh, he's a Democrat. No, he's an evil money lover.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he is. Remember, this is not political.
Yeah.
So the governor wants to reverse that. It wants to veto that.
Wow.
After think about it. So we have to realize and understand we're really in a war. We're really in a war.
Yeah.
To where the state, the court, does it say Supreme Court, right? Does it say that?
Wisconsin Senate.
Yeah, the Senate.
The Senate.
Yeah. approved a bill that would, ban. Well, see, that's what we need in every state.
Yep.
That's what we need. There are some states that are saying we're not with this, and then there's some states that are pushing this real hard. And it all has to do with these policy holders. It all has to do with the those in authority. And you got to remember, when they're money driven, when they love money, then guess what? That's what they're going to be doing, and that's what you see right here. And so, you know,
That's it.
yeah, that's good. Now I want to pull up the scriptures. See, we always give scripture to tie down and to illuminate. No, I want to do the Luke one first. Yeah, Luke 12:15. It says, and he said to them, guard yourselves and keep free from all covetousness. This is Jesus speaking, by the way. The immoderate desire for wealth, the greedy longing to have more. You see that? Listen, lovers of money, they never have enough.
Yep.
So if they have one Rolls Royce, they need two. If they have one private jet, if they see another money lover with a bigger one, then they have to have that one. Meaning there's never satisfied. Like you're not satisfied with a Rolls Royce. You're not satisfied with one mansion. You're not satisfied with one jet. You need properties everywhere. You need, and I'm not against people having nice things that work hard, but there's a lot of these people that have done things that are unethical to get those things. And it doesn't have to be this, but it can be multiple different things. They lie, you cheated somebody out because they didn't understand the language and the verbiage of what you had them sign. There's all kind of ways that these evil people that are money lovers, okay, right? It says, for a man's life does not consist in and is not derived from possessing overflowing abundance, or that which is over and above his needs, right? And that's another agenda that's being pushed in America. You need more, you need more, you need more, you need more. More is not enough. Listen, the only reason why we need more is to help more people. That's what it should be about.
Yep.
If we get more, it's because we're using it to help more, right? And so these scriptures help us to understand, right, that we should guard ourselves. So meaning temptation comes to everybody, but we should guard ourselves so that we don't become coveters, so that we don't become, our desire is for wealth. So when you look at our social media, a lot of these people on social media, their desire is to be wealthy.
Yep.
So that's why they take to it. That's why they're doing all kind of ignorance. That's why they're showing their bodies. That's why we're doing a lot of things because we want to have wealth, right? And the scriptures tell us we shouldn't be that way, right? We should be content. We should be grateful, and that our lives are not made so that you can get as much as you can in abundance and have more and more and more and more. And then a lot of those people, they don't give anything. It's just the truth. They talk about Michael Jordan. I'm just going to throw it out there. Michael Jordan, if anyone that knows him and you know how he is out in the, he doesn't give. I actually have a personal story about him. Well, my uncle told me that he lives in Vegas and knows these type of people. And a lady came to him. This is just an example of the wealthy, how these people act. Is a lady came to him that worked at the hotel that he was staying at, and asked him for an autograph, right, for her son, right, who loves him. And he did not give the autograph, and he actually went to the general manager of the hotel and demanded that woman be fired. And so, yeah, that's a true life story. So I'm just saying, I'm just pointing these things out to show the attitude of what this scripture is talking about, right? Mm-hmm. Now let's go to the Ecclesiastes one. Ecclesiastes 5:10, it says, whoever loves money never has enough. Mm-hmm. Whoever loves wealth is never satisfied with their income. this too is meaningless, right? So now we evaluate how we think, we evaluate how society's telling us to think, what they're teaching our children, but that is truth right there. Is those that desire, there's never enough. So that's why they have to continue to do these surgeries, continue. That's why you have doctors that have not even been trained or studied about plastic surgery or reconstructive surgery, and they have completely different fields, but they're jumping into the transgender surgeries because it's profitable right now. So can we put up that list of the mutilators? That's what I'm calling them. The list of the mutilators.
For the record, there's 43 pages
Of doctors?
of doctors.
Oh, well, we're just going to scroll
just
through a
scrolling
few
through
pages so we can get a few names. Maybe after every episode, we'll do like 2 or 3 pages.
Yeah.
Just to make people aware. So where's the first one is the one that cut
That's
Joshua.
I'll look his up. But this is the list we have online.
Okay.
So if you want to read them, you want to just scroll down nice and slow.
Well, we can make it bigger so that people can see. Yeah, so here's your warning list. Oh man, the first one is Gabriel. That's horrible. Man. So, yeah. Here's some doctors. Maybe write their names down so that you're aware. Make sure that you don't, if you run into.
The link.
Yeah, we'll share the link in our comments, right? In the description.
Yeah, so you can look it up. Tomorrow it'll be there by tomorrow.
Okay, so tomorrow we'll have this list posted, and you can see all the doctors that are into mutilating people, mutilating children. Let's call it what it is. All of these faces that you see smiling, they're about chopping children up and chopping young adults up and doing life irreversible surgeries. And each one of these people, they know what they're doing. Mm-hmm. Each one of these people, they know when they cut on that person. They know when they manipulate that child. They know that it's irreversible. Every single one of them. Yeah, this is reality. We got to expose. That's what we're doing. Truth unspoken. So once again, this will be put into the description, and everyone can look them up. That's good. We're gonna post it. So as you see, there's every single one of those people. They know what they're doing.
Yeah, 41 more pages.
All of those doctors, they know what they're doing, and they're coming for our children. Mm-hmm. Some children, some young adults have already been victims of these people. And we have laws saying they're heroes. That's what our laws are saying, that those people are heroes, and they're taking children out of our homes now. They're trying to sway children to get to certain states, so that once they get to that state, the parent has no right. So we really got to take our rights back and hit them where it counts, and that's in the pockets. That's in the money. Because guess what? Let's say, like we talked about, we take our children out, right? Mm-hmm. Let's say we get up to 1 million. Right? And each district is different per child, right? Mm-hmm. But I think the most common was $50 a day per child, yes. Right? So we get up to 1 million. We get up to 1 million families, right? In California, and I think there's over 30 million people in California. Mm-hmm. Just 1 million, right? What's that? That's 50 million, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Yes, it's $50 million. The state's gonna pay attention to $50 million. Oh, yeah. Right? But they're going to pay attention, the districts are going to pay attention to $250,000. And then as that number goes up, guess what? Policies are going to have to change. And guess what we also do? We put those doctors out of business. right? Because now that agenda that's being pushed, they have to backpedal on that. So that means that's less people they get to chop up, right?
Yeah.
So, once again, we're wrapping up, we're finishing, and we're grateful for all those that are starting to join, all those that have been a part of this and have liked and subscribed. Please share the link. I had an older gentleman earlier in the week tell me when I told him about trying to start schools. He was like, "I'll invest in that." He was a grandfather, so he was like, "I'll invest in that to make sure my grandchildren don't have to learn about all this crap." And he said some other things, but it was really funny because it's like the 40 and up club. They starting to see and knowing we got to do something. And so anyways, so if you can, if please donate, so that we can get land and build, that we can commandeer buildings and transform them into schools, campuses. That's our goal. And so, thank you for joining. Thank you for being a part. Thank you for all the prayers. Thank you for all the support. Thank you for all the encouragement, because a lot of people say, I couldn't do that, but you can do it. You don't have to be the one speaking, but you can speak with your actions, right? And so donating, pulling our kids out, pulling your children out, that's all participating in for a common goal, right? And so, anyways, I pray that everyone has a blessed night. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Truth Unspoken. And we will see you later. And have a good night.